Hey, what's up guys? Caleb here, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite sets that I own. It's the LEGO Creator Expert James Bond Aston Martin DB5. It's quite a mouthful, I know. This set costs about $150 in the US. It has 1,295 pieces, and so far, it's the only LEGO James Bond set that LEGO has put out, which is really unfortunate. Been wanting to see some more like James Bond sets for a while, but this is the only official James Bond set that they've released so far, which is too bad. Fortunately, this set does not include any minifigs. I really think it would have been cool if we got like an exclusive James Bond minifigure or something, but it has a really interesting instruction manual, so I'm going to show you that real quick. Lego actually went the extra mile and made like a whole top secret building instruction manual that I think looks incredible. It's got like the military stamp and everything from the Q branch. You can pause and stop to read that if you want. It's got all this ultra confidence stuff and stuff about the actual car from the movie, which you might find interesting. And it's got all the building steps, and there's nothing too like interesting about the building steps, but I just really love how they made it look like top secret files. Not much on the back either, but love that instruction manual. It's even got the little paperclip. Anyhow, I thought that was fitting because this is James Bond, right? But the build experience was actually very difficult for even me, and like I'm pretty good at Legos, but like part of the whole mechanism of the ejector seat and stuff was just really complicated. Like most of the interior is made up of like Technic, and it's just, I don't know, it was a harder building experience than you might expect for this car. But once you finish the car, I gotta say, it looks absolutely beautiful. Like, this set is just amazing on display. And it's loaded down with play features, but I think we just take a minute to observe how beautiful this set looks. It's got a ton of pieces in this, like, silver color here, like the bumper and stuff, and then the, like, little hoods, which is this really, really, like, bright silver that's actually pretty rare. It's not in many LEGO sets, but it's, like, brighter than normal silver, and they've included that in so much of the set, and it just makes it look like, oh, it's just such a beautiful set. I love it. There are a ton of like little details and gadgets in this set, but I think I'll start with one of the more just like ones that are included in most car sets nowadays. Is you can actually go and pop up the hood, and you've got a full accessible engine. It is a little bit hard to get out. The actual engine itself looks pretty cool with this really cool use of pistol pieces, and it just sort of sits right in there. You can also bend these different ways if you want to, I guess, but that's not like super important. And that just fits in the little area right there with the gas tank right here. Once again, so impressed how they managed to pack so much detail and so many play features into such a beautiful set. It looks amazing. We'll start with one of the interesting ones. Both on the front and back, you have a rotating license plate. Some of them are actually from like different movies. This one, James Bond 007. So you can flip those, which this one flips really easily, and it also has one on the front, but I always have so much difficulty working it. You kind of have to click it, and then it's just always really stiff on me, and that's probably my least favorite part of the set, is that this whole bumper is just almost impossible to get going. It just like is so stiff on me. I don't know if I built it wrong, but I don't think I did. It's always been just so stiff on me, this front one. So that has to be my least favorite part of the set. It's really unfortunate that they couldn't get that aspect. Near the rear end of the vehicle, you can actually pop up the trunk here, just like that. Oh, just like that, and it's got a full-on trunk. I kind of wish they could have just colored this like in gray. Like this little yellow bit just looks a bit off to me. I don't get why they couldn't have done that in a different color. But here you actually have these two poles, just like these two things, and you can actually attach them to the wheels as little like tire thrashers, like just like in the movie where he slashes her tires. And I think that's such a cool little feature. It takes like a minute to just put on, but I think it ends up looking really cool. Just using these pieces here, you can actually hook the Shuriken onto this bit, but it has this beautiful like exclusive rim, and they like create an entirely new mold just for this set, which I think is really, really nice. And I think it looks quite beautiful. And it's like, wow, this is one of the really cool parts of the set that just pops right in here. So yeah, that's the wheel for you. So now we can move on to a bit of the actual interior of the set. While there's not much interior, it's still loaded down with little fun details. Like this part, you can actually swing the door open, fold this down, and you have a little telephone for when he calls his boss in the movie. And that's just literally something that you fold right in there. It's got this really, really nice mechanism for actually opening the doors. I know it's going to be a bit blurry, but it actually is designed so it opens like a real car door, and it works really well. What's actually like amazing is that they built it sturdy enough that if you're very careful, you can actually take the entire car by the door, which is insane. Like, it's that good. I wouldn't recommend trying it. It doesn't feel great, but you can do that. This is a bit of the interior, or the bottom shots. It's not that great looking on the bottom, but you're not really looking at the bottom, and these doors are like a great part of the set, I feel like. Well, the other side doesn't have a hidden telephone on the door. This would usually be the driving seat in America, but it's England. So the driving seat's over there. I'll show you that in a minute. But if you see the AC right there, there's actually this little knob here, and if you can turn it, then it turns into the GPS he uses to track Goldfinger in his car. And I think that's like the most underrated feature of this set. Like, that's incredible. It's incredible. You can literally just flip it back as an AC, and that's such a cool little hidden feature that I didn't even know existed until I got my hands on the set, and I just love that aspect of it so much. That part's really awesome. The driver's seat unfortunately doesn't have a gas pedal, which I found odd, but this is the driver's seat. It's got this red switch, which I'll show you in a moment. It's got the steering wheel. You can steer that. You can actually take it up and down too, and then it's got like the your speed there and stuff. And actually the steering doesn't work on this, which I feel like is okay because it makes up for it with all the other gadgets. I know some other creator expert cars have like working steering, but this one doesn't, unfortunately. So that's about the only interior. This part is the ejector seat mechanism, which we'll get to in a minute, which just, one of my qualms with it is that it just looks a bit ugly on top. Like, you can just see that white piece peeking through the top there, which, I don't know, always just got on my nerves a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but I just don't get why they couldn't have done that in gray or some other color. Now we get to some of my favorite features of the whole set. So you can actually see this smoke pipe down here. If you crank that, bulletproof screen pops up. And I will say, I have a problem. I have to press it back down, which is quite unfortunate. Like, I just kind of have to press it. It won't really go back down on its own, which I find odd. I don't get why it's not working. Maybe I built it wrong, but I think it's just a flaw in it, which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, it would have been nice if you could just go crank, crank. Nope. I guess if you crank it hard enough, but it doesn't feel good in your hand. It just feels good to pop it down, which, I don't know. I wish it would just be easier to just go up and down. My favorite feature of the set is this little red switch here, and it is a little hard to get to, yes, if you have big hands or whatever. And when you flip it back and forth, then there's front wing machine guns that just go down like that. And I gotta say, this works absolutely flawlessly. They nailed this feature of it perfectly. It's just like in the movie, and it works like it hasn't failed me yet. And this is just an amazing feature. Like, literally just with a switch, machine guns. I mean, how freaking awesome is that? That is such a cool feature to include in a Lego set that I haven't really seen in other sets, and I don't know, it's just so amazing. I love that whole feature of it. Yes, maybe the best, and definitely the biggest feature of the set was so hard to build, but what some might argue as the best feature of the set, and they wouldn't necessarily be wrong, is this bumper right here. Actually, if you pull that back and then push it up, an ejector seat flies out. I mean, you gotta say, that's incredible, and you can just put it back in and reload it. The seat looks really, really nice. And I just want to do another view of how that looked, because that looked really cool. And you just pull the bumper, and it shoots up out of there. And I think that's just incredible feature in a Lego set. Like, one of the best by far. It was so hard to build, but it works really well. And it does take a day or two to get used to actually reloading it. It's a little bit complicated, but once you get it figured out, it's pretty easy, and I gotta say, it works really well. At the end of the day, is the LEGO creator expert James Bond Aston Martin DB5 worth $150 US? I would say, heck yes, go for it. Once again, this set is really, really nice, and I know a bunch of people might be put off by the fact that this set is literally $150. Like, it's definitely one of the more expensive LEGO creator cars that's out there right now, and it's for a reason. This set is loaded down with gadgets. It's a trademark thing by LEGO and James Bond, and it makes sense that it's so expensive with all these silver pieces and little gadgets and just the sheer size of the build you're getting and everything. I'm just in love with this set. This set is amazing. If you ever get the opportunity to buy it, I would definitely go for it. I mean, yes, it has a few flaws. Like, it might work better if they figured out that bulletproof screen, or if this dang license plate would work for once. But at the end of the day, you should definitely get this set. This set is incredible. It's my favorite set, and it looks great on display, but it's just loaded down with play features, and it just works so well all together. I love this set. This is Caleb signing off for now. You can subscribe if you want to, but I'm not going to tell you to, like every single other YouTuber out there. So I'll see you later then.